Sumerian tablets are probably one of the oldest form of a written record that we have. They've been translated, and they tell exciting stories about how gods intermingled with human beings and actually had a hand in the creation of human beings.
Thanks to artificial intelligence, long-forgotten tablets from a mysterious culture in ancient Iraq are revealing secrets about human civilization that you won't believe. This culture seemed to skip thousands of years in progress, with shocking insights into science, technology, and even genetic manipulation. Now, AI has translated ancient Sumerian texts.
And now, I can turn it around and have a look at the writing that's been hiding underneath.
So no one's seen that writing for 4,000 or 5,000 years?
Yeah.
And revealed terrifying knowledge about human races.
I'm holding in my hand here a document written more than 4,000 years ago.
What shocking secrets are these texts revealing? Recent advancements in artificial intelligence have transformed the study of ancient Sumerian civilization, and you won't believe what has been revealed. For many decades, researchers struggled to translate and interpret the thousands of cuneiform tablets that archaeologists unearthed in Mesopotamia. Many of these tablets remained fragmented, mislabeled, or incompletely understood. These tablets, some of which are over 5,000 years old, contain records of administration, commerce, astronomy, law, and mythology. But experts could never really understand what they said because the Sumerian language and script are so complex. In this technological age, AI-driven translation tools are changing this landscape. They allow researchers to reconstruct and interpret these ancient texts with unprecedented speed and accuracy. The newly translated tablets have revealed hidden writings about our human race, long buried beneath centuries of decay and neglect. For the first time in thousands of years, these texts now speak coherently across fragments, providing insights that challenge conventional assumptions about the rise of human civilization. Around 6,000 years ago, the Sumerians emerged in Mesopotamia, which is modern-day Iraq, and developed sophisticated writing, urban centers, mathematics, and astronomy seemingly overnight. This sudden leap in technological and cultural achievement has puzzled historians for generations. Machine learning models have proven especially powerful in this endeavor. By analyzing patterns across thousands of fragmented tablets, AI can identify missing signs, cross-reference dialects, and reconstruct incomplete passages. These tasks used to require decades of painstaking scholarship, but they can now be accomplished in hours. These breakthroughs allow us to read and understand texts that were previously inaccessible, but also offer a glimpse into the intellectual and societal complexity of one of humanity's earliest civilizations. After translating the text, AI tools uncovered shocking ancient knowledge that would change everything you thought you knew about the human race. After the Sumerian tablets were newly reconstructed and translated with the help of AI, they revealed a shocking level of astronomical sophistication that continues to shock historians and researchers. These ancient records documented interesting and very precise planetary motions, solar and lunar cycles, and even subtle changes in the Earth's orientation, which we know today as precession. For a civilization existing around 6,000 years ago, it's shocking that they had an extraordinary understanding of celestial mechanics. Modern scholars always thought it was impossible for the ancients to understand this knowledge without advanced observational tools or mathematical frameworks. According to the tablets, these Sumerian astronomers meticulously tracked the movement of planets, the timing of solstices, and patterns in the stars across centuries. Some passages suggest that they also understood long-term cycles in the heavens, which would require careful observation over many generations. They also systematically logged and organized their data, showing how structured the Sumerians were in understanding the cosmos. When AI assessed the ancient tablets, it pieced together fragmented and partially legible text, revealing some connections between astronomy. Previously, individual fragments appeared to be disjointed or symbolic, but after the translations were placed side by side, they showed coherent patterns, demonstrating that the Sumerians understood time, cycles, and celestial phenomena. With this knowledge, they came up with calendars and rituals and took care of agricultural planning, city administration, and religious practices. But that was not all, as the AI tool also translated information about the origins of the human race. The AI translations of ancient Sumerian tablets also revealed a shocking perspective on the origins of humanity. Instead of the traditional view of a single, unified creation that some texts have suggested, this one claims that humans were created in distinct groups or batches. Each batch is designed with specific purposes, traits, and limitations. These early records indicate that the first humans were not identical in form or function, but were deliberately separated based on the roles that they were meant to fulfill. Some groups are described as laborers. They are obedient and limited in their abilities. Others were endowed with knowledge, leadership potential, and creative skill. The tablets even say that some of these early humans were engineered without the capacity to reproduce, making them live only to complete tasks. AI-assisted analysis of the tablets shows that much of the terminology in the Sumerian writings focused on function and hierarchy. So, it seems like these distinctions were intentional and not symbolic. According to the passages, the multi-stage creation process was systematic, almost like making robots. Humans were shaped, tested, modified, and in some cases, discarded or erased. They believed that the human population was built methodically. The texts describe a process of trial and refinement, as some humans failed to meet the expectations of the gods, while others were upgraded to possess autonomy, wisdom, and reproductive capacity. Researchers were shocked when they saw what the AI translated. This wasn't just scattered and vague myths, but it seemed like the Sumerians had a coherent belief system of how humans were made. They challenged the ideas that we have today about equality, human unity, and origin stories. What's more, the Sumerians were of the belief that division among humans was embedded from the start, and they reflected this in their writings and ancient records. The ancient Sumerian tablets reveal that inequality and division were an important part of humanity from the earliest stages. According to these texts, humans were not created as a single, equal group, but were deliberately assigned specific roles, abilities, and limitations. Some groups were granted knowledge, tools, or technology, while others were restricted, kept obedient, or even erased entirely when they failed to meet the Creator's standards. This led to hierarchical differences, like the rich and the poor in the ancient communities. The tablets describe a structured system in which humans were shaped with precise functions in mind. Some individuals were given skills in leadership, writing, astronomy, and ritual, and eventually became the prominent members of society. Others were confined to labor, repetitive tasks, or physical toil. Some groups were engineered with reproductive limitations, ensuring that only select lines could continue, while others existed temporarily to serve particular purposes. This was a consistent belief that scientists found across different translated fragments. According to the AI analysis, these divisions had been carefully recorded and reinforced through both assignments and technological access. Groups given knowledge were taught advanced skills such as star tracking, mathematics, and metallurgy, while others were denied even basic literacy or tools. This created a deeply stratified society from the very start. After reading the texts, researchers found out that the roots of inequality, hierarchy, and social stratification might have been part of the foundation of human civilization. It challenges our normal understanding of humanity, especially early humans. But what you won't believe is that these texts also offered shocking insights about genetic manipulation. Genetic manipulation is something that we are just seeing in modern-day science. But after I translated those lost Sumerian texts, they realized that this concept might have existed long before we realized. The texts revealed startling details about humanity's creation and the role of the Anunnaki, the gods of Sumerian mythology. According to these texts, humans were not born naturally, but were deliberately engineered by the Anunnaki from clay, mixed with divine essence. This process followed a celestial revolt in which lesser gods, tasked with labor, refused to obey their masters. This causes the higher gods to create a new being capable of work, obedience, and eventually survival. Early humans, as described in the tablets, were only prototypes. They were sterile and limited, and over time, the gods refined them until they became capable of reproduction and endowed with skills, intelligence, and autonomy. AI translations pointed out some words that seemed like genetic manipulation, such as prototype yield, essence mixture, and reproductive capacity. Experts also found some information about the myth of Nibiru in the ancient texts. Nibiru was a celestial body whose cyclical passage is linked to cataclysms, floods, and civilization resets. The tablets call these moments divine intervention, where the Anunnaki's influence on humanity was re-evaluated and adjusted. Some humans were preserved, modified, or elevated, while others were erased. If this is the case, that's what led to the human race that we have today. The AI reconstructions reveal that these myths may encode historical, technological, and genetic knowledge, blending narrative with precision. By linking creation, cosmic cycles, and engineered traits, the tablets suggest that human evolution, society, and even inequality were not purely natural developments, but part of a deliberate plan orchestrated by advanced, godlike beings. But the Sumerians didn't only have information about how the human race was formed according to their beliefs, but also on science and technology. Some objects that we thought didn't exist might have actually been used in ancient Mesopotamia. These ancient Sumerian tablets reveal that early humans from 6,000 years ago might have had scientific knowledge and technological understanding that's far beyond what we might have guessed. Embedded within the texts, there are descriptions of medical practices, including antiseptics, trauma care, and detailed records of hereditary traits. This means that they had a full understanding of health, disease, and inherited characteristics. These accounts indicate that the Sumerians had a systematic approach to medicine, way more advanced than just folk remedies or ritualistic practices. Aside from medicine, the tablets contain references to devices and materials that seem to be related to electricity and energy. Shocking, right? Their writings described vessels that contained copper and iron that had been immersed in acidic liquids, and some of those terms were translated to words like currents, spark, and powerful glow. The descriptions of the objects they were working on resembled the later discovered Baghdad battery. These passages show that the Sumerians might have observed, harnessed, or even engineered forms of energy that were used for practical applications or ceremonial use. Other texts hint at more advanced technologies like mechanisms for controlled heat, metallurgy, and devices that can generate movement or power, sometimes described in ways that resemble flight or propulsion systems. What's more, it seems like these innovations weren't just innovations that the ancients stumbled on, but intentional research that was passed down to select individuals. When the scientists used AI to cross-reference fragmented tablets, it revealed a coherent record of practical and experimental knowledge. The findings change what we know about early civilizations and show that the Sumerians actually used observation, experimentation, and documentation in ways that resemble the scientific research we do today. Although the Sumerians focused on technology and science, they also believed in their gods strongly and had a lot of mythologies and beliefs that they recorded in ancient texts. The Sumerian tablets didn't only talk about the secrets of the human race, but also profound conflicts among the gods themselves, which shaped the course of human development. Central to this divine dispute, there were two powerful figures. There's Enki, the god of wisdom, war, and creation, and Enlil, the god of authority, order, and law. According to the texts, Enki advocated for human growth, autonomy, and knowledge, seeking to create beings that can learn, reason, and adapt. But Enlil only wanted to make humans for strict obedience, with control and limited capabilities. This god viewed humans as laborers to serve divine purposes. The main disagreement between the two gods led to deliberate and selective development. Some Sumerians believe that this is the reason why some humans are skilled, with knowledge of writing, astronomy, agriculture, and metallurgy. These were made by Enki. The others were restricted to labor and denied tools, education, or reproductive capacity, and were made by Enlil. Some groups of humans were later discarded if they failed to meet expectations. According to the writings, these interventions were intentional and systematic. The gods were monitoring every step, testing and adjusting early human populations based on their philosophical approaches. The conflict represented different visions of humanity's potential. Enki's interventions promoted creativity, adaptation, and survival, while Enlil's approach focused on stability, obedience, and containment. Over time, the different agendas produced divisions among humans and persisted in myth, social structures, and possibly even technological or intellectual access. The texts are saying that humanity was shaped as much by divine politics as by biology. It's an interesting perspective that says that the roots of hierarchy and inequality might be traced back to a deliberate cosmic disagreement instead of chance or natural evolution. While some humans were brilliant and some were laborers, the ancient texts also suggest that some lived for many years as divine human hybrids. If that's true, then everything we know about our planet isn't true. After experts looked at the AI translations and archaeological evidence from the Sumerians, they found something shocking. There are interesting connections between divine authority and unusual human traits, and this suggests that early rulership may have been intertwined with myths of hybrid bloodlines. The Sumerian king list records extraordinarily long reigns for the earliest rulers. Alulim ruled for 28,800 years, and Dumuzid lived for 36,000 years. At first, researchers thought that these numbers were symbolic and meant to represent divine authority, not an actual fact. But when they compared the translations of the AI texts with some archaeological findings, they discovered that there's more to it. Archaeological excavations, like that of the tomb of Queen Puabi, revealed skeletal remains within naturally elongated skulls and individuals that were way taller than the typical Sumerian populations. These anomalies have caused scientists to suspect that some early rulers or elite lineages might have represented deliberate intermixing with divine or non-human traits, almost like genetic engineering. The tablets talked about the importance of bloodlines, heredity, and preserving the essence. It seems like it was with these methods that they could achieve unique genetics that allowed them to live for centuries and be way taller than normal humans, almost like giants. AI also revealed some references to carefully controlled lineages, inheritance, and roles tied to specific families. It showed that hierarchy and power were maintained through both ritual and physical distinction. Whether these features are signs of actual hybridization, selective breeding, or symbolic mythology remains debated. But by looking at the text and archaeology, it's clear that they had remarkable individuals in ancient Sumerian civilization. Together, the king list, burial evidence, and translated tablets suggest that early Sumerian civilization intertwined governance, divinity, and biology. This divinity came from their gods and cosmic legacy, all of which had stories of cosmic science, moral law, and natural cycles. The Sumerians left behind a remarkably complex pantheon, with myths centered on deities such as Enlil, Enki, Inanna, Utu, and countless others. Each one governed aspects of the cosmos, law, and human life. Enlil was the god of authority and order, and presided over laws, kingship, and cosmic boundaries, while Enki was the god of wisdom and creation, guiding human development, intellect, and innovation. Then there's Inanna, who embodied love, war, and political power, navigating cycles of death and rebirth. And Utu, the sun god, upheld justice and illuminated truth. The thousands of fragmented tablets revealed that these weren't just myths to the Sumerians. The ancient community had detailed accounts of natural cycles, planetary movements, and celestial events. That showed that they had a deep understanding of astronomy, seasons, and environmental patterns. Some passages describe events with technical language that could mean energy, propulsion, or advanced phenomena. So many of these myths have information about natural laws or even extraterrestrial influences. The pantheon also reflects human concerns, talking about morality, governance, and societal order. It shows that the Sumerians wove cosmic and ethical principles into stories meant to instruct and preserve knowledge. As we've established, the Sumerians were advanced in terms of technology, and when AI translated the text, they realized that there was some lost technology from the ancient times 6,000 years ago. The ancient Sumerian tablets have uncovered some shocking references to catastrophic events that hint at natural disasters of immense scale and lost technologies. While translating the ancient texts, they found some phrases that said, "stones that scorch the earth," "fields turned to poison," and "fires buried beneath the ground." For the stones that scorch the earth, experts suspect that it means meteor impacts, while the fires buried under the ground might be volcanic cataclysms or the use of powerful, energy-based technologies that can devastate entire regions. Some texts describe glowing artifacts, fused glass-like materials, and regions that could not be lived in because of strange phenomena. Modern scientists say that these areas might have had extreme heat or radiation. Other passages talk about divine retribution and cosmic realignment after such events, suggesting that these cataclysms were seen as both technological and spiritual. The Sumerians clearly recorded the cycles of destruction and renewal tied to the heavens and to human or divine action. Some of these writings have been verified with real geological evidence, as we have recorded desert glass and sudden environmental collapses in ancient Mesopotamia. The alignment between textual warnings and physical data has led some researchers to guess that the Sumerians kept memories of actual cataclysmic events, whether they were celestial impacts or the remnants of advanced experimentation. So, these ancient tablets from Sumeria are definitely historical records of the peril of that time. They also recorded warnings from the gods, and some of that knowledge was passed to particular humans. The Sumerian tablets reveal that the ancient scribes meticulously recorded celestial cycles, tracking planetary alignment, eclipses, and seasonal changes with remarkable precision. One of those records was repeated warnings about a wandering celestial body called Nibiru, which is a great star or planet that sometimes returned to Earth. Whenever Nibiru returned, it brought with it floods, famine, and shifts in climate. The tablets revealed that this knowledge wasn't shared with all the Sumerians, but it was only entrusted to a select group of watchers or guardians. These were special individuals chosen to preserve and interpret cosmic signs across generations. These watchers maintained calendars, observed the skies, and advised rulers when signs of change or danger appeared. It seems like superstition, but the Sumerian system was an early science of time and astronomy. The Sumerians seemed to have full control over their people and regions, and the AI translations revealed something shocking about the human race. The AI translations of Sumerian and related Mesopotamian tablets have revealed shocking consistencies in how humanity was described, organized, and governed across a long time. The texts mentioned specific classifications of people, like workers, priests, rulers, and those who watch. Each one is assigned particular duties, knowledge, and privileges. These hierarchies seem to have been a continuation of structured order maintained for millennia. Even across distant regions and centuries, the same symbols, genealogies, and physical descriptions show up again, and that suggests that the Sumerians had centralized oversight or shared instruction that was more than just a local culture. Some of the words mentioned are phrases like keepers of knowledge and preservers of the code. They focus on maintaining both records and authority, and it was a society where control and obedience persisted. Instead of a myth, these frameworks suggest that there was deliberate orchestration. It was an intentional design to shape civilization's direction and preserve selective access to wisdom, technology, and power. The tablets imply that what appeared as independent cultural evolution might represent a managed continuum. With all these findings that experts have brought up, what does this mean for human history? After these ancient Sumerian tablets were translated, it reshaped what we understand about our history and beginnings. The newly deciphered records suggest that civilization didn't emerge through gradual progress alone, but through deliberate design, where human groups were created, instructed, and divided according to specific purposes. This challenges long-held views that inequality and hierarchy evolved naturally over time. Instead, the texts imply these divisions were embedded from the very start, intentionally woven into the foundation of human existence. If the Sumerian accounts are true, and not just myths and beliefs, it changes the course of civilization. From the way humans were made to the history of science and technology. It changes our understanding of freedom, identity, and progress. The translations raise questions like what is the purpose and fate of humanity? What kinds of inventions were made in the past but lost in time? What do you think about these origins? Let's know your thoughts in the comments. So, thanks for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.